His personality disorders make him a fascist. He does not care about anyone else. He does not care about the rule of law. He does not care about justice. He does not care about right and wrong. He's a criminal. He's a convicted criminal, 34 counts. He stands charged with many other, which I really don't think he has much of a. There was a bipartisan immigration bill that was going to try to fix some of this stuff. And Trump didn't want to fix it. He made the House vote against it because he doesn't want a rational system. He wanted the system.
Hold on to your seats, because this one's a doozy. George Conway just dropped a bomb on live TV that has Donald Trump absolutely fuming. Yep, you heard that right. He exposed him, and it was anything but friendly. If you thought the drama couldn't possibly get crazier, think again. Trump's probably still throwing a tantrum. Stick around as we break down this explosive moment, packed with all the hilarious, awkward, and downright shocking details. Trust us, you won't want to miss this one unfold.
Okay, he is a bad man. And why all of you out there seem to want to excuse him and pretend that reality is something other than what it is and what you want it to be is the problem. And I don't say that you're garbage because of that. I think you need to look in the mirror someday and start thinking about, is this man the man you want your children or your grandchildren?
Now, for those of you who've somehow managed to avoid the circus, that is Donald Trump for the last decade. Maybe you've been living under a rock, or perhaps you've chosen a more peaceful life. Let's take a quick refresher. Trump, the man who ran a campaign based on catchphrases, empty promises, and some seriously questionable hairstyles, is the very same guy who thought it was a good idea to build a wall between the US and Mexico. Here's a man.
I think everybody overthinks this guy. There's no strategy. There is no thought. And the brand is just him. He lives in this world where there's just him. Okay?
But it's not just him, George. It's a hell of a lot of people out there who've gotten sucked up into this thing and that are perpetuating
I agree with
that brand.
I'm talking about in his mind.
Okay.
None of us matter. Those people don't matter. They're not real people. He doesn't care what happens to them. If they show him adulation and they do what his bidding, that's good. If they don't do his bidding, he will destroy them. He will discard them. None of us, in his mind, okay, he's someone as a man with no empathy, a man with no conscience.
Business acumen involves turning bankruptcies into an art form, and who thinks the best way to handle problems is simply by yelling louder at them? If there's a blueprint for how not to handle a global pandemic or a presidential administration, Trump practically wrote it in crayon. But now, in a twist no one saw coming, except, well, everyone who's been paying attention, George Conway, is stepping up, exposing the disaster that is Trump's approach to politics, decision-making, and, let's be honest, common sense. It was almost like watching someone walk into a room full of clowns and say, you know what? Maybe juggling flaming torches while riding a unicycle isn't the best way to make a living. Conway wasn't just offering a critique. Oh no, he wasn't sitting there offering polite suggestions. He was absolutely shredding Trump's entire persona with the kind of surgical precision that would make even a Swiss watchmaker jealous. It was like watching a dentist work on a toothache-ridden lion, one who, after 30 minutes of trying to sedate it, just went ahead and drilled straight into the jaw anyway. Brutal, hilarious, and honestly, a little cathartic. Now, let's talk about Trump's so-called leadership for a minute, shall we?
He can't help himself but emotionally react to things. One of the things that he's a narcissistic sociopath. That's the thing everyone has to kind of get used to. It's the reason why you cannot normalize him. You cannot treat him like a normal human being because he's not.
If there's one thing Trump's presidency demonstrated, it's that if you shout loud enough, people will eventually start listening. Forget facts, forget experience, forget competency. Just be louder than everyone else. Honestly, it's like he took the saying, "Fake it till you make it," and turned it into a nationwide policy. The man couldn't even pronounce the word hamburger correctly during a fast food summit, yet he was trying to negotiate with world leaders. But sure, let's trust his judgment on literally everything else, right? And here comes Conway, Mr. Calm, cool, and collected, striding onto the scene like he's just walked out of a meditation retreat and into the middle of a reality show. Watching him call out the absolute absurdity of the Trump era is like seeing someone step into an elevator filled with people who've just realized they've been riding up and down for 30 minutes because Trump kept hitting the wrong button. You know that kind of vibe, where everyone's too polite to speak up until they finally snap. And then someone like Conway is there to calmly address the situation.
Even at his mental best, at his most acute mental state, he's bad guy. He's basically represents all that is evil, you know, as reflected in psychiatric
situation like it's no big deal. He's not sweating it. He's not panicking. He's just like, oh yeah, the country's been stuck in a loop of nonsense, and here's why it's all completely, utterly ridiculous. Conway's got that look in his eye. Half, I'm too old for this, and half, I've seen it all. And frankly, this is just embarrassing. It's almost like he's explaining why your coffee tastes burnt, rather than diving into the moral and intellectual collapse of an entire American political system. His delivery is smooth, detached, almost like he's giving a TED talk on how to remain unfazed when the world around you is on fire. But the coffee is still hot. He might as well be sitting in a recliner, sipping iced tea.
1980 to 2018, okay? I don't want to see a Republican Party led by a fascist, but he is a fascist. He cannot help but be a fascist. His personality disorders make him a fascist. He does not care about anyone else. He does not care about the rule of law.
And casually dropping truth bombs about how completely wild and reckless Trump's actions were, like he's explaining why the printer won't work. But don't let the calm exterior fool you. Behind those glasses and that smooth, calculated tone, Conway knows exactly how insane it is. He's been in the political ring long enough to understand the chaos he's talking about. And instead of getting all worked up like the rest of us, he just lets the absurdity speak for itself. It's like watching someone casually dunk a basketball in slow motion while everyone else is still trying to figure out how the game works.
Are on the edge of a dark precipice where the rule of law doesn't exist, at least at the federal level. I mean, we're talking about psychopaths here. We're talking about sociopaths here. We're talking about people with no morals, no conscience, no
But
nothing.
here's the thing. Trump, bless his heart, doesn't handle criticism well. I mean, when has he ever? This is the same guy who probably sends out angry tweets when his golf scorecard isn't up to par. Seriously, do you think he's the type to let a bad round of golf slide? Nah. If he bogeys the 18th hole, you can bet there's a tweet storm ready to go, filled with blame for the weather, the caddies, the course, even the grass for being too green. So, when Conway steps up, calling out the emperor with no clothes, you just know Trump is sitting there, gripping his phone like it's the last cookie in the jar, thinking, this guy, how dare he? You can almost picture it. He's stomping around, pacing like a toddler who just had their favorite toy taken away. Who said that? He might shout, looking around like someone just stole his lunch money. The audacity, the injustice, the absolute betrayal of his fragile ego. It's almost sad, if it weren't so hilarious. Imagine being a grown adult who can't handle a little criticism without crumbling into a pile of thin-skinned rage. Conway's out here playing chess, while Trump's getting schooled in checkers by his own reflection. If this were a reality show, Trump would be the guy who gets kicked off first for refusing to play by the rules, too busy combing his hair and staring into a mirror to...
Psychopathocracy.
Yeah, rolls off the tongue. I can see how this could be really catch fire.
Basically what it is if you take all the characteristics that I was talking about last year, about psychopaths, malignant narcissists, narcissistic sociopaths, whatever phrase you want to use to describe them, because all of those phrases are like overlapping circles in a Venn diagram. You have a government that is psychopathic because it is being run by psychopaths for psychopathic ends. And psychopaths seek destruction. This is what they are seeking. And
realize everyone else is already on the second challenge. This is a man who made decisions based on whatever was most entertaining at the time, like a kid in a candy store, but with the power of the free world. How could anyone take him seriously? It's like having a reality TV star show up and tell you they're the expert on, well, anything, really. The man once said, well, not directly, because who could possibly remember all his brilliant blunders? If we just put our best people on it, everything will work out. Oh, sure. Right. Because when I think best people, I immediately picture the ones most likely to create an international incident before lunchtime. Classic. Put your best people.
And then I just started having this queasy feeling like I don't really want to work in this administration, because I was just watching the shit show that was going on with the Russia thing, and with the firing of Comey, and the guy. It's just like the administration shut
on the job, and what do you get? A national crisis within 48 hours. It's like asking a guy who's never played an instrument to conduct an orchestra. What happens? Chaos, a broken saxophone, and a lot of people asking, why is there a drum solo in the middle of Beethoven's Fifth? The best people were so out of their depth, they probably thought a cabinet meeting was a place to hang their coats and drink coffee. Honestly, their leaks made the Titanic look like it was dry docked for the season. You couldn't make this stuff up if you tried. And let's be real, most of us wish this was all a joke. It's like hiring a guy to build your house, only to find out halfway through the process that he thought plumbing meant throwing the pipes out the window and roofing was just piling some old newspapers on top of your living room. He was the walking, talking embodiment of a DIY project gone horribly wrong, only on a global scale. And now we come to the ultimate kicker. George Conway, who's been watching all of this unfold.
She has been inconsistent as people perceived her. She's been criticized. She's been, and during her first couple of years of VP, she didn't have necessarily her best moments during the 2020 primary campaign.
Yeah.
And somebody quoted in this Joan Waltz piece basically said, well, now, she realizes she has to just be who she is.
Brat.
And brat. Yes, brat. And that's, that kind of authenticity. And I'm saying that is an amazing contrast with J.D. Vance, just to illustrate it. There is an
bold with a smugness that could only come from knowing, I told you so. He didn't need to make a huge fuss. He didn't need to scream or pull out a flip chart. From Trump's bizarre love affair with dictators to the countless scandals that followed him like a shadow, Trump provided an endless source of material for anyone willing to point out the obvious. The man's incompetence was truly astounding. Think about it. Trump somehow managed to alienate everyone, not just the people who were already mad at him, but even the ones who initially liked him. The ones who thought he was some kind of outsider hero? Well, let's just say that illusion melted away faster than a snowman in a heat wave. Trump's policies were like a third grader's school project. Half-baked ideas scribbled on the back of a napkin.
And it is an attempt to destroy what they perceive to be as the enemy, which is the very government that they're charged with administering. And that's the only way to explain almost everything this administration has done, everything that Donald Trump has done since since before he was sworn in as president, when he nominated people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Matt Gaetz and Tulsi Gabbard. Mm-hmm. This is an attempt, basically, Donald Trump wants to have revenge on the United States of America.
Followed by a big, loud presentation, and then zero follow-through. It's like he was trying to play a game of chess, but was stuck on checkers. And somehow people still acted shocked when it all fell apart. It's like watching someone set off fireworks inside a paper bag and being surprised when the bag catches fire. So when Conway stepped into the spotlight and called Trump out, it wasn't some shocking revelation. It was more like an overdue correction. It wasn't a plot twist. It was just reality finally catching up with a man who'd spent most of his life running from it. In that moment, Conway wasn't just speaking for himself. He was speaking for everyone who'd watched this entire spectacle unfold and thought, yep, we saw this coming from a mile away. Trump might have charmed a few people, but the rest of us were just waiting for the curtain to fall.
And the real danger of narcissistic sociopaths like this man, like coming into office, they create a permission structure for other people to be their worst selves. We all have choices every day on whether to do right or to do wrong.
And thanks to George Conway's little TV moment, that curtain is finally starting to drop. Trump may not have gotten the hint then, but now? Well, let's just say the hint has been delivered, and it's loud, clear, and wrapped in sarcasm.